Hi, and welcome to the A Quilting Life podcast. I'm Chelsi from Chelsi Stratton Designs.
And I'm Sherri McConnell from A Quilting Life.
And it is March 11th, starting to get some good spring weather. We're very excited about it. And as you can see, we are so excited about today's episode because we are sharing our newest fabric collection with Moda Fabrics, Laguna Sunrise.
Yes, finally.
Yes, finally. But first, I want to talk about one of our sponsors, Cozy Earth. We love our Cozy Earth products, and we have everything from sheets to pajamas to socks. Those are just a few of my favorites. The sheets are temperature regulating, and Cozy Earth has also been featured in Better Homes and Gardens. So we love Cozy Earth.
And don't forget to use the code A Quilting Life at checkout for 35% off site-wide.
Okay, so we just really want to dive into it today because there is so much to talk about with this new fabric collection. But first, Mom is going to be sharing her quilts today.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited, and I will share why I was excited after she talks.
So the quilt on the wall is called Tulip and Vine, and it is my most recent finish. And there's a little story about it. I actually started out making this table runner, and I just, wanted something fun and springy with Laguna Sunrise in my home. And I made the table runner, and I immediately thought, oh no, this is a new quilt pattern. This can't just be a table runner. So I showed it to my husband, and I actually showed it to my friend Vicky, who quilted this. And she said, yeah, you got to do a quilt. And Bill said, yeah, you got to do a quilt. So I went home and I designed the quilt, and then I made the quilt in like 2 days.
Yeah, you did.
And then I took it to Vicky, and she actually, even when she finished quilting it, she messaged me. She lives just a mile or so away. She said, hey, I'm going to drop this off for you on my way to the post office. So I even got it hand delivered, and I actually bound it last night while watching a UNLV basketball game. And
they won.
San
we
Diego.
were watching really closely.
Yes. So anyway, I think it's my favorite of all my new patterns. And it was just, And then the name, did I mention the name?
I was just going to say, I don't think you
she
actually
did.
said
She
the
said
name.
Tulip and Vine.
Tulip and Vine. I just really struggled, and I actually I knew there were already a lot of tulip quilts out there, and I actually started looking at all their names, and nobody had this name, and I had thought of it. And so I was just like, yes, I have the name. So because tulips was already taken, and there were all of the things that you would kind of think about were already taken. So I love it. And I loved using, this is my favorite print from the collection, this large floral. And it was so much fun to use it in the sashing along with the tone on tone. The tone on tone in this is actually from Strawberry Lemonade because I ran out of my Laguna Sunrise tone on tone.
Oh, you too?
Yes.
Oh, I'm out.
Yeah. And all the pattern cover is all Laguna Sunrise, but my quilt, everything in my quilt is Laguna Sunrise except for my leaves and stems, the vine blocks. I actually made them scrappy I even have Bountiful Blooms in there, Favorite Things, Simply Delightful, Emma. I have greens from all of our last collections.
Yeah.
Okay. And then on the table, it shows like hanging over the edge, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So this is Patchwork Garden Remix, and this is my honey bun quilt this time. And I'm super excited about this. It is perfection. And I can say that because Nancy Lane pieced it, and she does such incredible work. And I was so grateful to have her help with this quilt. Actually, the only thing that I did was add the outer border and then bind it after it was quilted. And Marion Bott did the all over quilting on this one.
And I sort of misspoke that those blocks that are hanging over don't quite show. But
okay.
I'll make sure we have
pop up a picture.
Yeah, a picture of.
Okay. Yeah, we can take the table runner off. But yeah, Nancy's work is just perfection.
Impeccable.
It is. She is a true incredible
If you
quilter.
need your trusty thesaurus, I am one.
Yeah. And the honey bun really, really saves time. You actually only need 1.5 honey buns, and that's what I sent Nancy. And she was able to do this, and she even had enough extra. There's a little mini included then in the pattern too, and she was able to get all the patchwork blocks for that done. But if you don't have a honey bun, a fat eighth bundle will work, 1 fat eighth for each block.
Oh, wow. Can I share my little tidbit now?
Yes.
So I walk into the podcast room. I have seen the catalog. I have seen all of Mom's new quilts for Laguna Sunrise. And I walk in and I was like, that's new. Have not seen this before. And my family's been sick, so I have not been to the house.
Yeah.
Like, it's been a long time. And since the last time we filmed. So I immediately fall in love. You guys, this one is so good. It's my favorite out of all of our patterns, actually. Out of all of the new patterns. It's so cute, so simple. It's adorable. And it really, I think, shows off Laguna Sunrise probably the best out of the quilts because she uses so many prints within one color range for each block on the florals.
Oh, thank you.
So I am in love with it, by the way.
I'm actually not done sewing it either. I'm going to make a 9-block wall hanging for my kitchen because
of course she
is a little bit too big to put in the kitchen.
How do you find the time? Because see, my flower quilt, she's also, are you making a pillow out of that?
Yes.
Or are you doing something? Yeah, she's on the ball, people.
I don't know about that.
Okay, we do want to mention, because we get so many questions, the quilts behind. Can you explain all of the quilts that we have around us?
I think they haven't changed since last time, so Billy can just put those in the description.
Awesome.
Right?
Yeah, I was going to say that. So we did
I
mention.
haven't changed anything. I've been too busy sewing. So.
Oh, I bet you have.
Everything on the ladders in Strawberry Lemonade, right?
Yes.
And all those will be linked in the description if anyone's curious what they are.
Right.
Do that. And same with the quilt behind me. It's the same. What's the name of it again, real quick?
Flowers for Emma.
Flowers for Emma, and the one back behind the
Garden Star Sampler.
Garden Star Sampler. All linked in the description.
All right. So we actually have some news about the new piece catalog cover, and I didn't know this. I hadn't found out yet. But Mom, do you want to tell us about Minnick and Simpson? This is huge. I was sad.
You know, when the catalog comes in the mail, unless you're on the cover, which we were for Strawberry Lemonade, but you don't know it's always fun to see who's on the cover.
Yeah, it's a surprise.
And so I was so excited to see Lori Simpson, and then her sister, Polly Minnick, that's where Minnick and Simpson comes from. Polly retired a couple years ago. But I was so excited that they were on the cover together and with a new collection. But then I read the article and Lori said she's retiring. And so I was sad because I love, love, love the red, white, and blue collections. But she said she'll still be quilting. I think in the article it said something because that's who I am. You know, I will still quilt.
Love that.
Yeah. So anyway, super sad but happy, for Lori to get to spend time.
You have been buying her fabrics for years. Years and years.
Forever.
And so I have known who they were because growing up, that Mom had been buying their fabrics and
Okay, but there are some other fun collections in here other than ours. I love Camille's new collection.
Yeah, Rosemary Cottage. Super cute.
Very cute. And Vanessa Gertson has a basic dot collection.
If you love her dots, it's all in one collection now.
Yeah, and Vanessa Christensen has an ombre with little metallic hearts.
Yeah. She will be the Stitch Pink this fall as well with her collection.
Yeah. And then Heather Briggs, My So Quilty Life, her collection looks pretty. Her collection
is really cute, and she has possibly my favorite lineup of patterns. It's
really?
Oh my goodness. She has a cute little strawberry quilt.
Oh, I have to go
in there.
Look at that.
That's a very, very pretty. She has really good patterns.
Yeah. So good catalog. And just also wanted to tell you, if you love something that you're seeing introduced on social media now, please tell your favorite quilt shop that you want them to buy it, because I think that's why the availability of Strawberry Lemonade was hard to come by. Enough people didn't tell their quilt shops that they were going to buy it. And so the shops didn't order enough, and there's no more.
There's no more.
Right.
It's like hard to find.
So, yeah, with anything that comes out from here on out, just send a quick email, or when you're in the shop, just tell them that you love it, and so they can get their orders and have what you need.
Yeah,
so.
That's why. So when we first introduced, there's only a limited amount of time that fabrics can be ordered.
Right.
And that's why it's so important to, if you really are loving a collection, or two or three collections, to let your shop owners know so that they can get the available amount needed.
Right. In fact, by the time this episode airs, there are only 2 to 3 weeks left in the Laguna Sunrise ordering period.
In the sales period.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Thank you.
All right. So what's new with us?
And I mentioned there a couple people, we mentioned your newsletter based on the last episode.
Yes.
How can people get started or where to go?
Yes.
And go ahead.
Okay. So we will have a link in the description below where you can click and sign up for my newsletter. That will just get you the weekend newsletter that has a summary of everything I posted during the week and any new announcements. If you want to get an email every time I post, when you get that first newsletter, all the way at the bottom, there's a button you can click where you can say that you want to get an email every time I post.
Okay. There was a few questions that came in about the newsletter after we mentioned it. So if you just want that weekly one, it'll be in the description as well.
Yeah. And then the podcast email is going well, Billy, right?
Yep. I was going to mention that now and actually share some listener quilts that we got with the new podcast email. So if you didn't catch last episode, there's a new email dedicated just for this podcast. It's a quiltinglifepodcast@gmail.com. And that's where we're asking you to send any listener quilts and any questions that you have for our listener question episodes. And the first day the last podcast was released, I started filling up with pictures of listener quilts. Some I'm going to share today and questions. So it's been going really great so far. I will just say it's sort of stacking up a little bit. I mean, you might send a picture in and you may not expect to see it on the podcast for maybe a month at least, because I'm just going straight in order as far as where I receive them. So I'm not playing favorites or anything like that. I get them. Everything I've received so far has been great, and I'm just going to share them in the order I get them. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into those today. The first one, and I did share all of these pictures with my mom and sister before we started recording today. But the first one is from Jennifer, and she said she made, well, I'll read the email here. I wanted to share with you guys the Cutie Cube by Minky Kim that I made using strawberry lemonade. I'm so obsessed with this fabric, like so many others. Not only am I working on the Block of the Month quilt, I'm making she says she's making the Block of the Month using your strawberry lemonade as well. I'm also a bag maker, and so I bought an extra fat quarter bundle just to be able to make bags with it. And here is a picture of my cutie cube. She said, "Thank you for being amazing and always inspiring to me." And again, that's from Jennifer.
Yeah, and it's so darling.
So
it makes me want to make one.
Yeah, I love it. You could put so much stuff in it.
Yeah, I kind of want to make it in Laguna Sunrise, though.
Why am I not surprised?
Yes.
And then, our last episode, we talked about quilting mistakes. And these next couple quilts here, I think were brought out and inspired by how you guys talked about that. This one here is from Tracy. She said, I made this quilt over 35 years ago with my grandma a few years before her death with her curtains and dress scraps. I added a few pieces and had crafted it that I had crafted as well. As you can see, we weren't quilters at the time. We had 3/4 inch seams and nothing nested. I later learned from my aunt and have gotten better 30 minutes at a time. I've carried this quilt from Ohio to Seattle to Alaska to Las Vegas and finally quilted it in North Carolina. Like Chelsi, I didn't want to quilt it because it was so bad and I ran out of fabric and it was lopsided. With Chelsi going through her unfinished quilts, I thought this might make her feel better. She encouraged me to get it and others quilted as well. And so she shared it and she said, it's a little crooked and everything, but I think that's awesome. I mean, 35 years
Like, what a journey.
To finish it.
to finish a whole quilt.
Write a
Awesome.
book on that.
And it doesn't matter that it's crooked. You know, it's think of all the time and family and everything that's gone into putting that quilt together. I think that's awesome.
And I loved that was sent in because it really was hard for me opening that box and seeing those quilts. And I think the quilt is wonderful and beautiful. And I know how that feels because I thought my quilts weren't worthy of being quilted or finished.
Okay, this next one is a quilt from Fat Quarter Shop, but it's using some of your fabrics in it. It's from Nikki. She says, I'm a self-taught quilter who learned by watching YouTube videos. In 2020, I thought I would get out my old 1960s sewing machine that was left by my father and make a few masks. Well, after that machine refused to cooperate, I bought a new Juki. I made my first quilt in October 2020. Yeah, that's your brand, right?
I love a Juki.
Out of scraps. She made her first quilt in October 2020 out of scraps. She's now obsessed with all things quilting and, of course, fabric. Yours and Chelsi's fabric and patterns are my absolute favorite, and I have even tried to get all of your old lines off of Etsy.
Oh, thank you.
So I just got my botanical remix kit, and I'm really hoping Chelsi does a quilt along. This quilt attached is my most recent finish using Sincerely Yours and the free Love Chain pattern from Fat Quarter Shop. I used a cuddle on the back and quilted it myself. I quilt most of my quilts and then I trim them afterwards when they are usually out of squares. So she actually has a couple questions and I'm going to save those for a listener question podcast as well. So thank you for those. But yeah, the pictures are up there and thank you for sharing that quilt with us. Okay, and then have a few. I wanted to do some extra ones here to kickstart it because we did get so many right off the beginning. But this next one is one of those quilt mistakes, and this is from LaVon Jackson. And to summarize a lot of what she said, that she was watching our episode about the mistakes. She says, very apropos because this week I had one of my bigger mistakes. She said she's a quilt designer and instructor, had a deadline coming up with some designs for an upcoming catalog for Riley Blake, and she realized that she made this mistake. So I'm going to put these pictures up. The first one she sent, she shows where she made that mistake. She said, I had half square triangles that were sewn in a 4-patch block that would be sewn into the corner of a big block. The 4-patch corner block got rotated the wrong direction. Not only did I not catch it in multiple steps along the sewing process, but I did not see it until after it was long-armed, and I long-armed my own quilts. It was not way obvious, but I knew it would bug me, and like Sherri, I had someone in a class point out a rotated block I had in another quilt, and I admit it sort of hurt my feelings and didn't want that to happen again. I immediately picked out the long arm stitches and then picked out the 4-square block. I hand sewed the block back into the quilt and then machine quilted over the top of what I picked out. I did the top stitching with a regular machine so it's not as smooth or regular stitches like a long arm machine, but with time it will be washed and it is at the bottom of the quilt where it may not be seen as easily. So essentially she did all that work to fix that little block, but I think at the end of the day, she it was going to bug her and she wanted to fix it, and she did it. So it is possible. And she did say, if you notice the pictures, I have used your fabric line Strawberry Lemonade in this quilt and I'm using it in other quilts I recently designed. So that's awesome. That is from LaVon.
I think she will be happy that she did that in the end, even though it took a little bit of time. So, and I think that's the ultimate question is, will this bother me down the road? Yeah.
Okay, and then one last super quick one here. It's just funny because this is from Becky, and she sent a picture of her watching our last episode. Okay, and she was quilting while she was doing it. So she says, hi, Billy, I was watching episode 105 while stitching this block and chuckling along when Chelsi admitted she would never have corrected the error. Then I looked down at my block and just had to laugh. Thought you would enjoy it. And I didn't show you. I actually forgot. She's making some type of star, and the point that's supposed to be out is turned in.
Yeah.
And she was doing it while she was watching our episode about mistakes. So
That's
she
funny.
just thought it was, there's a coincidence that I'm watching that, and then here it is. So I'll have that picture up
I
there
have
as well.
to say something really quick about that episode. That line where Chelsi said I would put it in a box. I can't even tell you how many people have mentioned that to me in person. I feel like Marion did and Vicky and
Those are my people.
They just loved that.
They get it.
Yes.
So so we shared quite a few, but the emails worked great for us. I mean, it's so nice to just get all those right to my inbox. I can organize them, and a lot of really great quilts were shared so far, and there's more in there waiting to be shared.
And it's been super helpful for me too, that the inbox that I had where those would usually come into, it has calmed down and I can actually process the emails that do come there in a quicker manner.
Yeah.
So thank you, Billy.
No problem. Thank you to everybody. Okay, so floor is yours to talk about Laguna Sunrise. I threw out some questions out there that I was curious about and that maybe others are as well. If you haven't already seen the YouTube video that they did where we show some up-close shots of the fabrics, they go through it piece by piece and sort of talk about all those. That's more of like showing it for what it is. This is going to be a little bit of that, but also have you guys talk about the inspiration behind it, the naming of it, what it pairs with, all those different types of things.
I think you should take the lead on this.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, if that's okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to start out and just kind of talk about where Laguna Sunrise really, I read through the comments on the video where we showed the fabrics, and I just want to say thank you to to everyone. Just the positive feedback was awesome, and we put so much into these collections, and that made me smile. This collection, when Mom and I went back to the drawing board for a new collection, I really felt like we weren't done with purple. And it had been a while since we'd added some purple into a collection, and we kind of started piecing together a palette, and it turned out we're very excited about it. And what it kind of turned into was kind of another sister of Balboa and Laguna Sunrise and Seashore Drive.
Yeah.
And it had been a while since we had visited that kind of breezy coastal vibe.
Yeah.
And so we're very excited about that, especially because you can see Moda sent us these cute little cards with the coordinating solids. It really is a rainbow, but not the traditional Roy G. Biv rainbow. Yeah. It's just different shades and more of that coastal.
I think it really is a coastal rainbow. It really is.
Coastal rainbow. And after that, it was so seamless. And what we did is we went back, and you'll notice a few prints are returning. Our really, really small floral print is actually from Seashore Drive. And then there were some basics that we loved from Simply Delightful. So we added in the stripes and the petals and the orange peel, but we sized them down because we wanted something a little bit daintier. But basically, we are very excited about the colors. We love how bright it is. There's a lot of color, which I feel like is true to Sherri and Chelsi. We will always have lots of color in our collections that we feel complement each other.
Yeah, and it does blend really, for example, this runner.
Oh, yeah.
The binding is strawberry lemonade.
Yes.
And all of the greens are from, whatever scraps you have, if you have our earlier collections, will blend in.
It works so well with strawberry lemonade. And I don't know if I'm allowed to mention this yet, but we have a book coming out with Fat Quarter Shop where we use both Laguna Sunrise and strawberry lemonade together in that book. And it's so seamless. It ended up working out really, really well. Yeah. But we are loving it. And as far as designs go, you have the mix of traditional Sherri and Chelsi flowy florals with basics and lots of color.
Yeah. And one more thing about that book with Fat Quarter Shop, there will be a sew along to go along with that. And it will feature
Laguna Sunrise.
The Laguna Sunrise, one of your quilts with Laguna Sunrise.
One of my quilts is the sew along quilt for the book, Sew Along.
Yeah.
And it is an awesome book. We're very excited
Yeah.
about it and excited that it features Laguna Sunrise. So that is another reason to, if you want to sew with Laguna Sunrise,
Right.
that will be available in time for the sew along. Yeah. So the name, let's talk about the name, because we have shared a story with you when we have a collection coming out later this year, and mom was so funny. It was like 1 a.m. and she was trying to come up with names. But this one, I do have to share. She named this one right out the bat. And she said, we are naming it. Is that, if my memory serves me well?
You named Strawberry Lemonade.
Yes.
And then I named the next 2.
Yes. But it was so quick on Laguna Sunrises. Like the next, I'm trying not to say the name of the next one, but that one took a while, and I was like, no. But this one
you agreed right away.
Yeah, she said Laguna Sunrise, and it just felt really right, because starting with Balboa, those are obviously, we had a lot of memories. Balboa Island, if you're from California, that's kind of where you go to shop, and kind of like that coastal pier vibe.
Yeah. I feel like I had just been to Laguna when we were designing this collection. And so just kind of having just been in that part of Southern California, that really came to me.
Yeah.
Well, so let's explain, because not everyone that listens from California. So there's
Balboa Island
in Southern California is what you're talking about there.
Then
and then there's
Seashore Drive is the street that our beach house was on,
that we used to rent for a week in the summer. And that's in Newport Beach, California, also down there.
Yeah.
And then Laguna, there's also a Laguna Beach, which is a little south of that. So these are all references to Southern California beach cities or areas and beaches.
Right. Yeah, Newport is a little bit north of Laguna, and then Dana Point, where we like to go, also is a little bit further south, and then San Clemente. It just goes all the way down the coast. But
and if you know our family, we have this love of the ocean, probably because of my mom, and my parents made it a point to take us there. I mean, we all love the beach. I think we all do. Besides my older sister, probably doesn't love it as much, but Sean lived there in California, and Billy loves it there.
And really, I'm so grateful to my in-laws. I mean, I just can't think of anything better that they could have done for their children and grandchildren than to do those. They did 4 years in a row they wanted to get all of their grandchildren together so that the cousins could. And
it was a week every summer that we lived in this beach house, and it was right on the sand.
Yeah.
And so there was 20 cousins all together. There was so many of us, and we would just run out to the beach every day, and one of the parents would be like, I'm volunteering to go watch all these kids.
Yeah. And as parents, we loved it because my in-laws paid for the house, and so all we had to pay for was the food for the week.
Yeah.
And we did take turns cooking at lunchtime. Each of the adult families would take a day and cook, and my in-laws would actually buy a ton of cereal for you guys.
Yeah.
But it was funny because we had this little savings account that we would put money into, and then we would always take it out the Friday. We always left on a Saturday and came home on a Saturday. So we would get that money out of the bank on Friday, and that was our food money for the whole trip because we ate out a lot. So it was really
crab
fun.
Cooker.
Yes.
We're getting off on a tangent here.
Sorry.
We need to get back to the fabrics. Now we need to go to the beach.
Well, no, I mean, it's good that you mentioned that, because if the inspiration of those collections, because you mentioned the video, this is like the third sister, right, to Balboa and Seashore Drive.
The third sister.
So if those, that's a quote from you, Chelsea, not me. you said it. But if they're all inspired from the ocean I mean, is this like your ocean collection? Would you say those three coordinate that well together, or I don't know, what do you think?
So I actually have this thing where if coastal inspired, I never have sea turtles or sand dollars in the collection. It's never novelty.
Yeah, I've never seen what do you call it?
Yeah.
Little shells or anything? Have you ever done shells on any prints?
No, because I don't I just want it to give that.
We're not big on novelty fabrics,
Yeah,
are we?
no.
No, we're
no,
not.
not at all. And we never do prints like that. But this just still reminds me of California.
Okay, so that's my question then. Are those this Laguna Sunrise and the other previous two we just talked about?
Yeah.
Like, do you feel that it's just a name because it just reminds you? It's just a name because you remember that place, or is it named because it reminds you of that place?
Yeah, it embodies that whole experience.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you do feel like these collections are directly inspired by ocean
Definitely.
views
Yeah.
and ocean themes.
Definitely.
Totally.
Okay.
Yes.
Like when I see somebody, Mom had the perfect descriptor. Sea mist, is that what you said?
Yeah.
The blue?
Yeah.
And
Misty
all
blue.
I could, the misty blue, all I could think about was, oh, that's exactly it. It reminds, and then the purple is not only, there's lots of florals in California, but also the purple just gives that vibe too with the misty blue. But the purple also has it's sentimental for other reasons. Obviously, I made my mom paint my entire room purple. Like the most obnoxious purple.
Oh, it was a bright purple.
It was so bright. The brighter, the better. Everything was purple, and it was just blah in the room. But I would make my mom I would ask her to make me these purple quilts. New house, new bed, purple quilt. 20 different purples. And it makes me smile every time because purple is not like a color you would find all over my house right now or in my kids' rooms. But I still have both of those original quilts, and they are still used when my kids are sick or whatever. We'll pull them out of the closet. And I have a new quilt pattern that I specifically put a lot of purple in, and I made the border purple because it doesn't it not remind you?
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, and I named it Aurora, and it's beautiful. Marion is actually piecing it for me right now. It's done by the time this airs, and it's beautiful. And I said to myself, that is just like healing my inner child, seeing that like purple quilt. It's exciting.
I have to tell you, I saw two of the blocks, her first two blocks, because I went to pick up. She quilted some soft and stable for me. And I went to pick
Marion.
it up. Yes. And she was like, I've got 2 blocks done. And she was so excited. And she's such a perfectionist. They're perfect.
Is such a perfectionist. I knew she would just do a killer job on that. I haven't seen anything, but see, I love me and Marion's relationship. We talked the other day and she's like, I hope you're sewing. And I was like, I hope you're sewing. And cause I'm making 2 quilts at the same time right now. Actually, they should be done by the end of this week, but we're so funny. I think
she told me she was trying to race you and win.
I don't know if I'll beat her, but I'm literally rushing home right after this podcast to
sew,
finish 2 quilts. And then I'll go see Marion and we'll probably laugh about it. So,
Well, we hope you love this collection. We have certainly loved sewing with it. And be sure to go back and watch that video where we walk through all of the prints if you haven't seen that yet. And
and I just want to highlight again just a few of the questions on here. So this is being featured in a new book we have with Fat Quarter Shop. So if you want to, there will be a sew along with one of my quilts that is in the book. And so if you are wanting to either sew along or you are loving any of the new patterns, please let your local quilt shops know so that they can get the fabrics in. We are very excited about this collection and lots of prints in this one. I think 36 prints.
Yes, 36.
36 prints.
And also I just thought of something too. We will find out when you can pre-order that book with Fat Quarter Shop and get that information to you as soon as we have it available.
Yeah. We're just really excited about it. We love all the colors and all of the fun patterns that we have with the collection.
Yeah. And our next episode is going to air on March 25th, 2024. We will be right in the heart of spring for that episode. And
right in the heart of Little League Baseball.
Yes. Can't wait to see you then. And thanks so much for stopping by.